A spiritual successor to Dirt Rally 2 or Battlefront 2? Will my voice hold up long enough to complete this review? Find out right here, right now. Greetings Rommies and welcome to Rom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and to our regular review of any sim racing product that could interest you. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, and thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe. My name is Ike and I will be your host for this video. EA WRC is a brand new series, with EA taking over the license for the FIA WEC from Nakon, who brought out the previous WRC branded games, WRC 5 to 10 and WRC Generations. But that's not all. EA WRC is also the first game we've seen from Codemasters Birmingham since the acquisition by EA. With F1 23 being released to mixed reviews, you can see how there's been a lot of attention on the new game and brand. With all of that said, let's start from the top, as we did with F1 23. As with F1 23, the EA Sports logo, which, to be fair, I've never hated, blares into view with the audio set far too loud for headphone users. And, once again, the obnoxious generic music starts up before the initial start screen, and you're not allowed to change it until you've run through the initial startup. Codemasters, please stop this. It's so infuriating as a headphone user to have this kind of music starting up before I have any way of stopping it. On the menu screen, it's fine. Please, just give us some peace before it starts. Rant over, music muted, and controls bound, and force feedback set the same as I had it in Dirt Rally 2. I fear you'll get bored of this comparison. And the best news is that there is mouse support. Fantastic, brilliant, a new useful function over, wait, Dirt Rally 2 had that too. Moving on, let's jump into a quick session, or time trial. And we're treated to the same hunt the quick race as in F1 23. Not as dire as the F1 counterpart, as at least I can use mouse shortcuts, but again, frustrating. The new option, which I was incredibly excited for, is the car builder. Pick out a class and build a car around the space frame chassis, selecting everything from the engine to the handbrake cosmetic, and finalize the design, which you can then use in free races, time trials, online, and in your career. Honestly, what an ad, and before we've even turned a wheel. Also enjoyable to see is the new Fanatec Rally module, which I've held in my hands at the Sim Racing Expo present in the game. Like all the other product placements Fanatec have in several sims at the moment, having this through line between sim racing and real racing is just enjoyable. And a sweet nod to the work drivers like you and I have done to legitimize our hobby, much as I dislike a lot of Fanatec's business practices. Once you've got your car, your outfit, and your face, yes, there's a character creator too, which honestly I'm skipping past at this point. I'm not the target audience, and I know I'm not. I'm sure it's a value add to at least part of the audience, and the code is already there from the arguably more vapid F1 series, so you may as well implement it. But we're not going to dwell on that. It's time to pick a stage to get to grips with the car, and this is where the problems begin. Firstly, Unreal Engine 4. I think it's been established by Kunos' dive and subsequent retreat from the Unreal Engine that the fourth iteration of the graphics engine is not ideally suited for racing simulators. It's a weird day when it's most appropriate to say that the game looks like the outer edges of ACC's terrain rather than a distinct game. Along with Rennsport, it seems like there is just a feel about Unreal Engine that is inescapable from a cosmetics department. Unlike ACC, when it was first released, the game on the highest setting on my 1080 Ti whilst recording ran at 14 FPS. A quick reduction of settings got the frame rate to at least playable, but then I was left with, well, what you see here. Not the greatest, and a peculiar brightness that I've not seen before. Now, Codemasters have promised to have these fixed in an upcoming soon TM patch, perhaps as soon as when you're watching this video, and we'll have an update in our weekly news to let you know if it's helped. Okay, all the menu stuff out the way, and before we go any further, use the force feedback settings you see on your screen now if you're using a wheel. There have been some reviews saying that the force feedback is terrible and a step back from previous sims. Our experience is that the more usual forces whilst driving are just as good as they ever were, but the wheel friction, as in the opposing force while you're trying to go lock to lock, has been increased. Why? I don't know, but reducing that to 0 gave an immediate and measurable improvement to the car and brought me right back into the game. Where the feedback falls down ironically, is the big impacts. Jumps, rocks, ditches, they all seem muted compared to Dirt Rally 2. There has been, and always will be, the risk of taking a jump in the previous iteration and having the wheel rip itself out of your hands. That risk feels minimised in WRC, and with it the sensation of danger when, for example, taking the incredible jumps through Finland, or mounting the Hinkelsteins in Germany. The car may lose stability without the game informing you, not a deal breaker, but again, this isn't a first-time ordeal for Codemasters. I can't imagine it not being on purpose that this specific force is being minimised. Initial complaints out of the way then, let's go a bit deeper. Excellent changes are the modernisations to rally calls, with the new vocal notations to give the driver better direction for the upcoming road. Unfortunately, there did seem a heavy reliance on slowing, normally the call for a jump or crest into a much slower corner to let the driver know this isn't a Colin McRae moment, and slight calls. Basically, the smallest kink up to a 6 turn is now covered by slight, which, just call them 6s. Add to that another new call which I've not heard of, which is twisty, and it's just enough, if you haven't experienced it before, to throw you off, which at over 120 km per hour is not what you want to be happening. Casual disclaimer here, there is a tutorial section. I did have a quick look, but nothing too deep. There is a possibility it's covered in here. This is more of a public service announcement than a criticism, honestly. Several stages in, and the regular slight calls no longer bothered me, and the use of twisty is rare enough that I just consider it a "you're on your own here, lad" call. It's forgivable. And I think that sums up any of the misgivings that I have about EAWRC. Not to go all Star Wars fan, but at last we have a new WRC game from the people who gave us the rally game in Dirt Rally and Dirt Rally 2. The rallycross cars and tracks will be sorely missed from the sim, but there's always DLCs, something the day one release is mercifully free from, and additional content, including the Europa Rally coming as soon as the real life stages are complete, from what we understand. Or you fire up Automobilista 2, which has them nicely set up. So that you can appreciate the differences, generally, we attempted to get a similar stage up and running in Dirt Rally 2 and WRC, but that wasn't possible. However, what we could do is get a similar length stages and throw the same car, the Lancia Fulvia, at it. Something we've seen no one do yet. So, with wheelcam and some shiny new products that we'll have a video for you on soon, check this side by side of the new WRC versus the old King of the Hill, Dirt Rally 2. No interruptions, just rallying art. The games, not the driving.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
140. Turn open hairpin left. Slight left, 50. 30. Left over crest, 120. Right over crest, 300.
Left 50. Keep middle of a jump, 120. Flat right. To keep middle of a jump, to keep middle of a big jump, and 6 left long, past house, 50. Keep middle of a jump.
60. Turn acute hairpin left. Into slight right, 70. 5 right short, at house, into left over crest, 50. 5 right, half long, into dip, 40. 1 left short, 1.
Opens 6, extra long, narrow. And 6 left long, opens of a jump, 150. Slow, keep middle of a jump into 3 right long, opens 40.
Rest, 100. 5 right sharp, into 4 left short, over crest, 120. 6 right, tightens, over jump, 50. 5 left short, over crest, 120. 5 left, that junction, 50.
Into 6 right long of a crest, 30. Early 6 left long of a crest, opens of a crest, 50. Flat right of a dip to flat left of a crest, jump, 80. Keep middle of a jump, into 6.
Slight left over crest, tighten 6, 90. 6 left over crest, 80. Big jump, brake, 80. 3 left, 30. 6 right. And turn square right into bridge.
5 right long, into 6 left of a crest, 50. 6 right of a crest long, 6 left of a crest. Keep right of a 60 of a crest and 6 left, into 6 right. Into 6 left of a crest.
6 right over small crest, 120. Slight right. Into crest, slowing, 70, unseen, 2 left, half long, opens, slight left, extra long, over crest, tightens.
60, 6 left of a crest, jump, 50, 3 left of a crest, opens, keep right of a 80, 4 left of a crest long, 80.
Into 4 left, through junction, and 5 left over crest, 70. 6 left, 60. 4 right over crest, opens, 100. Left over small jump, 50. 6 right.
40, 4 right, 80. Flat left of a crest, 50. 4 right, tightens of a dip, 150. Of a finish. 6 left of a crest to stop. Well done.
So, to sum up, is EAWRC worth your money? Well, yes and no. Yes, eventually. No, not right now. This is another game where the optimizations are holding the whole game back and making it incredibly difficult to give a recommendation in its current condition, with even RTX 30 and 40 series making a meal of it. But the same was true of Assetto Corsa Competizione on release, and look where Kunos, with one would assume a smaller budget than EA, has brought to the sim by the end of life in 2024. And therein lies another rub. Is EAWRC going to be a semi-annual release? 2 years of development and then buy another one to feed into the EA motor? Or will Codemasters retain the same title and expand with DLC, patches and fixes until we're in the same position Dirt Rally 2 is in, with an absolute must-buy for any sideways inclined driving fans? Questions that need answering before it's possible to suggest what's for the best. What I will say is that I went to refund my copy of EAWRC because I have Dirt Rally 2, which is the same handling system with many more frames per second. It was declined because I'd spent too many hours in it to be eligible for a refund, despite those 2 hours mostly trying to get the thing working smoothly. But I wasn't disappointed by that. If anything, it drove me back into the career mode, which is another whole new feature that we've not even touched yet, mainly because I have yet to fully understand how it works. Follow up for when I work it out? Let us know if you're interested in the comments.